The shockwaves are still rippling through the paddock. After decades of high-speed theatre against the roaring Southern Ocean, one of MotoGP's most iconic battlegrounds is set to disappear from the calendar. The decision has divided fans, stunned purists, and raised uncomfortable questions about the sport's future direction. For many riders, few circuits test bravery and finesse quite like Phillip Island. Its sweeping corners and unpredictable coastal winds have produced some of the most memorable duels in modern Grand Prix racing. Yet from 2027, that chapter will close. Replaced not by another traditional circuit, but by a bold urban alternative. Behind the scenes, however, this was not an overnight call. According to the Fédération Internationale de Motocyclisme, FIM, the writing has been on the wall for years, and now the governing body has finally revealed the commercial and infrastructural realities that forced their hand. From 2027 onwards, the Australian Grand Prix will move from the legendary Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit to the proposed Adelaide Street Circuit. The decision ends an era that began in 1989, briefly shifted to Eastern Creek Raceway in the early 1990s, before returning to Phillip Island in 1997, where it cemented its place in MotoGP folklore. FIM President Jorge Viegas did not shy away from explaining the reasoning. For nearly a decade, circuit management at Phillip Island had reportedly been urged to upgrade facilities and modernize its commercial approach. Each year, assurances were given. Each year, progress failed to meet expectations. Viegas was candid. Requests for infrastructure improvements, enhanced fan engagement strategies, and stronger promotional initiatives had repeatedly stalled. In contrast, Adelaide presented what he described as a strong and comprehensive proposal, aligning with the sport's broader growth ambitions. Those ambitions have intensified following MotoGP's acquisition by Liberty Media. The American giant, known for transforming Formula One's global reach, has made it clear that expansion into new urban markets is central to its strategy. Capturing fresh audiences, particularly in city centre environments, is viewed as crucial to elevating MotoGP's commercial footprint. From a purely sporting perspective, Phillip Island is adored by riders. Its flowing layout rewards commitment and precision, and it regularly produces slipstream battles that define championships. However, sentiment alone is no longer sufficient currency in modern motorsport. Viegas emphasized that this was ultimately a commercially driven decision, albeit one he believes is understandable. The message to circuit promoters worldwide is unmistakable: evolve or risk irrelevance. Upgraded hospitality, improved spectator facilities, greater accommodation capacity, and enhanced off-track entertainment are no longer optional extras. They are essential components of hosting a Grand Prix in 2027 and beyond. There remains, however, a glimmer of hope. The FIM has not permanently closed the door on Phillip Island. Should its management deliver the long-requested upgrades and present a competitive proposal in future bidding cycles, a return to the calendar is not impossible. Motorsport history has shown that venues can reinvent themselves, but only with decisive investment. The move to Adelaide signals more than a change of scenery; it symbolizes a philosophical shift. Street circuits offer proximity to urban populations, easier corporate activation, and greater media spectacle, yet they also pose technical and safety challenges, requiring meticulous preparation to meet MotoGP's demanding standards. The broader implication is clear: MotoGP is entering a new commercial era. Under Liberty Media's stewardship, heritage circuits must now justify their place, not just through racing pedigree, but through business viability. The sport is balancing nostalgia with global ambition. And that balance is delicate. For fans, the loss of Phillip Island will sting deeply. For MotoGP's leadership, it is framed as necessary evolution. When the lights go out in Adelaide in 2027, it will mark not just the start of a new Australia Grand Prix chapter, but a defining moment in how the championship navigates its future. Beyond the emotional reaction, the competitive implications of this switch are equally fascinating. Phillip Island has traditionally favoured machines with strong corner speed and stable aerobalance through long, flowing turns. Teams often arrive there with a very specific setup philosophy, knowing that tyre management on the abrasive surface would be decisive. A street circuit in Adelaide, by contrast, is likely to demand harder braking stability, sharper traction off slower corners, and maximum acceleration efficiency. For manufacturers, that shift could subtly influence development priorities. Urban layouts typically reward strong front-end feel under heavy braking and precise electronics mapping for stop-start sections. The aerodynamic advantage seen in recent seasons may play out differently on narrower public roads, where overtaking opportunities are more limited and qualifying performance becomes even more critical. From a rider's perspective, the change also alters the psychological equation. Phillip Island has always been about rhythm and bravery, committing to high-speed corners with little margin for error. Street circuits, however, are unforgiving in a different way. Concrete walls sit closer, runoff areas are tighter, and mistakes are punished instantly. The margin between heroics and disaster shrinks considerably. There is also the question of spectacle. Phillip Island's natural amphitheatre setting created stunning television images. Bikes sweeping across cliffs with the ocean in the background. Adelaide will offer a different aesthetic. Skyscrapers, grandstands packed tight to the fencing, and nighttime city energy if organisers opt for an evening race slot. For broadcasters and sponsors, that urban theatre could prove highly marketable. Economically, the relocation reflects a broader motorsport trend. Governments and city authorities increasingly view major racing events as tourism catalysts and global advertising platforms. An inner-city event can generate direct economic impact through hospitality, entertainment, and integrated festivals. In that context, Adelaide's proposal may have simply aligned better with modern event hosting models. However, not all stakeholders will be convinced. Some within the paddock quietly question whether too many street circuits risk diluting the sporting purity that defines motorcycle racing. Unlike Formula One, MotoGP machines are far more sensitive to bumps and surface inconsistencies. Preparing public roads to meet safety and grip standards is a complex and costly undertaking. Safety will inevitably be scrutinized. The FIM will need to ensure that curb design, barrier placement, and medical access meet the championship's increasingly rigorous standards.